News 46 is brought to you by Affiliated Chiropractic and Affiliated Physical Therapy. Come in for your free consultation. Call 775-727-8900. Our goal is to create the individual treatment plan that will restore your health and end pain. You're watching KPVM News 46 at 5 with Rick Vale and Rhonda Van Winkle. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's Wednesday, April 13th, 2011. I'm Rick Vale.
And I'm Rhonda Van Winkle for News 46. Topping our news this evening, Pahrump is still recovering after Friday's shocking arrest of Joe Roderick. The now former Pahrump Youth Softball Association president is still behind bars after a $630,000 bail has now been reduced to $50,000. The former coach and general contractor has not posted bail pending his hearing on April 18th. We spoke to Detective Eric Murphy, the arresting officer in this case.
We were contacted by some board members, and they had noticed some misappropriation of funds from the account, and they immediately contacted us and asked us for their assistance or our assistance.
He was the president of the Pahrump Youth Softball Association. 126 counts. This is 126 times that he embezzled?
That is correct. It basically, the way the statute works is he's able to be charged with each time he goes in and takes money out. And so far, that's what we've been able to determine, is it's 126 times in a span of approximately 8 months.
So as far as his position there, they don't have a treasurer, or how was he able to get access to this money?
We're still working on that part of it. I believe he had access to it just by being president. He had quite a bit of control of the account.
Were you able to locate all the victims of this so far? Is this money that was put in and paid by parents? Or?
That is correct. It looks like so far it's just like their donation account, and then it was being directly withdrawn out of that account.
Can I ask, does he have any kind of record?
I don't believe he does. We're still checking all that avenues also.
And what time period span are we talking about?
So far, it's roughly about 8 to 10 months is what we've located so far, but we're going to go back to the entire time that he was the president, which I believe is 2.5 or 3 years.
Do we know how much money we're talking about?
Not at this time, we do not. We're still trying to allocate that stuff, and I'm working with the district attorney going through all that stuff.
All right, and then he was taken into custody, I believe, Friday on this. How long did the investigation go on for?
The investigation was actually, thanks to the board, was actually very quickly. I believe I started dealing with them at about 11 a.m. in the morning, and shortly by early afternoon, he was taken into custody without incident.
And then he had a bail of $630,000, I believe. He's got it reduced since then.
That is correct. His bail started out at $680,000, and the judge brought it down to, I believe, $50,000.
Does it look like anybody else is involved in this?
Not at this time, it does not, but I'm still doing several interviews and following up on several leads at this time.
So will resource officers in our schools still have their jobs after budget cuts? We spoke to Mary Huggins and Don Boldine, two of the three Nye County Sheriff's officers which keep our kids safe and teach the D.A.R.E. and G.R.E.A.T programs in our schools.
We teach D.A.R.E. throughout the county, and we offer the program to fifth graders for a 10-week program on conflict resolution and how to resist drugs.
There's been some talk about cutting the program. What's going on with that?
Well, they're saying that they're spending over $500,000 to run the programs, and they don't think, some people, I guess, are arguing whether the program is viable or not. So we'll see what happens.
Unfortunately, the figures are skewed. They don't spend $500,000 to run the program. We're school resource officers. We prevent delinquency in the schools and high-risk problems with juveniles, and we protect the schools, the kids, the teachers, and the public. We teach D.A.R.E. and we teach G.R.E.A.T, and we help kids understand how to protect themselves and how to identify problems and resolve conflicts. But taking D.A.R.E. or G.R.E.A.T out of the schools or taking police officers out of the schools may increase the problem, since we're increasing class sizes, taking adults out with the layoffs and the closure of Mount Charleston Elementary School. It is frightening to be cutting more programs. So,
Are they just talking about cutting the programs or cutting the officers? Because I can't even imagine the schools operating without the resource officers.
we hope they don't cut the officers out. We're specialty trained. We've received about 500 hours of additional training to work in the schools. So we know a lot about civil liability, juvenile law, and how to interact with children and interact with the principals and the teachers and parents. So we hope they don't do that. We love working with the kids. So
I know that the D.A.R.E. program is very key to teaching these kids about drug and gang resistance, a great program as well. These are so key. These are something that the kids are very involved in. They also gain a relationship with the officers. Completely.
As a school resource officer, we're providing additional resources for the students. As a mentor, coach, life coach, life skills is what we really teach in the programs. When they think of gang resistance education or drug abuse resistance education, there's probably one, maybe two lessons of each of those programs that is designated for gangs or drugs. Everything else talks about peer pressure, like Mary said, conflict resolution, anger management, how to set goals for yourself, how to make good decisions, and what is a community and why is a community important, and how even the project in the G.R.E.A.T program talks about what we can do to make our schools a better place. So these are the things that we talk about, trying to give the kids resources for life, to make better choices.
if they removed us from the schools, the calls would still be there and likely would increase, because we wouldn't be there to prevent the problems or to work with the kids to teach them how to resolve their conflicts, or to deal with cyberbullying, deal with the violence that they would face, or to be present to prevent any of that.
There's a decrease in crime because of the resource officers. I can't remember the exact figures, but I remember Sheriff Tony DeMeo said an exact figure that they had been able to calculate.
It was 46%, and that's largely because of officer presence. But that 46% is also reflective of things, proactive things that the school has done, the school district has done, as well as juvenile probation. I mean, it's definitely a team effort.
And my apologies, that was Deputy Bolden talking to us from D.A.R.E.
The kids will kill us if we say his name wrong.
Folks, coming up after the break, the Masons were at Simpkins Park last weekend.
And pointers on how to keep your credit cards safe.
We'll have all this and more after the break. Please keep it here.
News 46 is brought to you by Affiliated Chiropractic and Affiliated Physical Therapy. Come in for your free consultation. Call 775-727-8900. Our goal is to create the individual treatment plan that will restore your health and end pain.
Welcome back to News 46. Yesterday we spoke to victim of credit card fraud, Mary King. Today we speak to Nye County Sheriff Detective Eric Murphy to get some pointers on this crime, which seems to be more prevalent these days.
There's been some issues reported to us locally that people have been noticing on their accounts, their bank accounts, that there's been transactions done that were not authorized by them. So they've been contacting us. We've had some minor issues with some stuff that we've been trying to track down, and so far we've got a pretty good handle on it.
I know that we had some skimmers placed on some machines, I believe it was a little bit over a year ago. Does this look like it might be skimmers? Does it look like it's online activity or merchants getting these card numbers?
I don't think the skimmers have too much to do with it. It looks like it's more like online. Some computer savvy people are able to get into the systems and get the cards that way. But we've been in contact with a lot of the local businesses that look like they've been having issues, and they're working with us, and we're working with them to try and correct the issues.
I know that there's all these different ways that you could protect yourself with online purchasing. We spoke about that yesterday, a little bit about using secure encrypted sites and well-known merchants online to protect yourself if you're using your credit card. I spoke to Sheriff Tony DeMille yesterday. He was talking about virtual credit card numbers, but I think only Citibank offers those. Those aren't offered at a local bank here.
I checked on that a little bit, and I don't believe so. Some of the banks have stated that they're looking into that also to help out the customers more.
Does this look like it's a local merchant, or is it just feel like there's a lot of people in town locally being hit because we're such a small town and communicating with each other?
I think it's more locally, that it's just the people in public. It's not any certain merchants that we can actually detect. It just looks like it's happening all over the country, and it just seems like it's happening a lot here.
What should you do to protect yourself?
Some of the most important things first to do is, if you're doing online, like you already stated, make sure you're using a secure site that says that, that they secure their site so it can't be hacked. As far as like merchants, one of the most important things that we do is try not to use your PIN number. If it's a debit card, select the credit part of it. That way it'll just automatically go through. If you're at a gas pump, then it just asks for your zip code. Stuff like that. That way it makes it very hard to get your PIN number.
If people just have your bank account number, can they actually do this, or do they need your card number?
No, they can access if they get into your bank account, they can also remove money that way.
When you report this to the bank, or the bank calls you, and I know that in some cases the bank is calling because they're checking on this, and they're saying they're going to take care of the charges, what do you do after that point?
One of the things we like to have people do is contact the sheriff's office and have a deputy respond and take a report. That way the detective bureau is able to start tracking this to see what kind of issues we have, as far as if it's a merchant or a bank problem or something like that. That way we're able to keep track of it completely. If it's not reported, then we're not able to track down, and nobody would actually know about it.
And for more information, you can call the Nye County Sheriff's Department.
All right, the nonprofit group The Masons were taking children's fingerprints and DNA samples at no cost during the grand opening of Simpkins Park on Saturday. This was to benefit parents and law enforcement in case of an emergency.
We're giving out free child IDs. It's at no cost to the parents. What we do is we take their information, take a picture, they get a little ID card, and we also take their DNA sample, which is a swab of saliva, and their thumbprints. We give it all at no cost to the parents in case their child is lost. They can have something to give to law enforcement to help find them.
So this is something that the parents keep on them?
Yeah, the parents have it, or they can keep it at home. But it's just something in case of emergency for them to have.
And this is useful for the purpose of?
If the child is lost, it'll help law enforcement locate them.
Okay. And then tell me, who's funding this?
The Free and Accepted Masons of Southern Nevada. It's actually what we're called is Southern Nevada Masters Wardens Associations. We are Free and Accepted Masons, but it's all the lodges of Southern Nevada. Right here, we're doing it in conjunction with Pahrump Lodge 54.
When are you going to be at the next event?
That is next week, right?
Next week in Floydland Park.
And where's that at?
In Vegas.
That'll be in Las Vegas at the Highland Games.
And then anything else that you're going to be at in Pahrump?
Not right now. We have none scheduled, but we will be doing it at all the schools.
Okay, I don't want to hear it.
Nothing. I got nothing. I hear you had a little trouble with the computer systems getting the weather ready yesterday. That's
well,
what I got.
yes, but the weather forecast was incorrect. I'm announcing that there's going to be wind of about 7 miles per hour with gusts up to 18 miles per hour, and it's like a tornado outside today.
It has. It's been very windy. And don't worry about it. You know, the system, it's a little glitchy sometimes. We got a lot of wind, tons of wind. It's not going anywhere, so get it out of your heads. There's no lull. We're not going to get any calmness. Keep your hair in a ponytail.
That's right.
Wear your hat. It's windy. It's going to stay that way all week. But we got warmer temperatures, so that's pretty good, too. At least we're out of the cold. It's all gone. Nothing but warm.
So I was right about that.
That's right. You got that.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere, folks. We got your 7-day forecast coming up right after this break.
News 46 weather is brought to you by your local dairy farmers. Dairy products are very important in maintaining a healthy body. For more information, you can visit their website at nevadadairycouncil.org.
Hey everyone, welcome back to News 46. I'm Rick Vale with your weather. We have a high wind warning. It's going to remain in effect through 9 p.m. tonight. Winds are coming out of the southwest, 25 to 35 miles per hour, with gusts in excess of 55 miles per hour. It's going to be strongest in the late morning through the early evening. You're going to want to be careful if you're driving around in a high-profile vehicle. Now, looking at today, we're going to have a sunny day out there. It was beautiful for us, 74 degrees. Winds out of the southwest at about 17 miles per hour, with gusts upwards of about 35 miles per hour. Our pressure holding steady on the barometer, 29.85. Sunrise was at 6:13 a.m., and a record high was 90 degrees back in 1962. Looking at tonight, it's going to be clear yet again, a low of 44 degrees. Winds out of the northeast, 16 miles per hour, with very windy gusts up to 33 miles per hour. Sunset was at 7:16 p.m. and a record low was 30 degrees back in 1983. Looking at our 7-day forecast, Thursday, windy, maybe about 12, 13 mile per hour winds expected, a high 72 and a low 45. Friday, partly cloudy. In fact, take a look. The rest of the week is looking partly cloudy, but when I say partly cloudy, we're talking sporadic little clouds, nothing crazy, mostly clear all week long. Gusts up to 20 miles per hour, a high of 81 and a low of 46. Saturday, gusts up to 26 miles per hour, a high of 84 and a low of 51. Finishing off our weekend next Sunday, looking at 29 mile per hour gusts, a high of 83 and a low of 50. Monday, heading into next week, a little breezy, 25 mile per hour gusts, but the temperature's pretty good, 78 degrees, 47. Tuesday, deja vu, 78 degrees for our high, 47 again for our low, with 33 mile per hour gusts expected. Finishing off our 7-day forecast, next Wednesday, 29 mile per hour gusts, a high of 82 and a low of 54. All right, folks, and before we get into our announcements for the evening, 2 quick birthday announcements. Today is the 70th birthday of Kathy Collins. She's a longtime resident of Pahrump, and she's been watching us for quite a while. Keep on watching, Kathy. And Jacqueline Caro turned 33 years old yesterday. She's a new resident. She just moved here a little while ago, and I only know this because she's my wife's best friend. So, so happy birthday to Jacqueline, and very happy birthday to Kathy.
Happy birthday. Okay, well, the Pahrump Tax Aids will be at the Pahrump Town Annex every week on Wednesdays and Saturday through April 23rd.
That's right. You can call Fern Payne at 727-4258. Again, that's 727-4258 for more information about that.
Okay, the National Grange meeting will be held tonight at the Pahrump Senior Center on Basin from 7 to 10.
And a registration event will be held on Tuesday, April 19th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Town Annex on Highway 160 in Basin. Any child entering kindergarten in the year of 2011 should attend a registration event.
Okay, there will be a free immunizations for registering kindergartners only.
And all Pahrump elementary schools will be present at the event, so you want to make sure you go.
Okay, any questions, call 727-9970. That's 727-9970 and ask for Kaylee.
And lastly, the Bureau of Land Management, the Nevada Department of Agriculture, and the Nevada Department of Corrections are hosting the second of 3 annual saddle-trained horse adoption events in Carson City on Saturday, May 21st at the Northern Nevada Correctional Center off Snyder Avenue on the south side of Carson City. To pre-qualify, call 775-885-6146. Again, that's 775-885-6146.
Whew, that's a long announcement, huh?
It was.
Tongue twister. You know, when I was doing the weather yesterday, to say south-southwest, It was really getting me going there.
It takes some time. People
we
underestimate
really
that.
did miss you, Rick. You're a great, you read well and you do the weather well, and we missed you.
Well, thank you very much.
How was Nevada Broadcasters?
The Nevada Broadcasters was very interesting, huge. My legs are killing me because it's at the Las Vegas Convention Center, and the thing's like 18 miles long if you have to walk it. So yeah, it was a very long, arduous, and sore day for me. Thankfully, my wife has massage machines, so I got home and sat on the massage thing, had my feet massaged, watched some TV. It was a great way to survive the day.
See, women are such a nice compliment to men.
Absolutely.
Aren't they?
And it gives us a reason to buy things like that.
Okay.
That's right. Folks, that does it for this edition of News 46. I'm Rick Vale.
I'm Rhonda Van Winkle.
From everyone up here on the Hill at KPVM, we wish you a safe evening, and we'll see you here again tomorrow night. Till then, good night, Param.
Good night.